Okay, today we're playing a game on Route 66. We are in the Platinum SR range, and we will be playing Gongo the Bongo the entire way through. Also, our current team composition, don't really care about it, for no better reason than that I just forgot to write it down. And I know what you're asking. You're asking, well, wouldn't a more professional person just start the video again after writing it down? Yes, that's exactly what they would do. But I don't want anybody to get the false impression of who I am, which is definitely not a professional individual. We're also on the console today, by the way. Consider yourself forewarned. So let's just start the game. So we've got to defend Route 66 first, and we learn very quickly that they have a Bastion. Now, conventional wisdom is that Genji is quite good against Bastion. This has not really been true for like 5 seasons at this point, ever since they buffed the damage reduction in turret form. Because now, between the damage reduction, Bastion's healing, the fact he has sellotaped Mercy to him, and that he's probably on the payload, it's quite hard for Genji to kill Bastion at this point. You basically just kind of harass Bastion and have a better luck of actually, like, killing the Mercy than the Bastion most of the time. So they also have a Pharah. We go pretty hard for the Pharah right here. Fairly optimistic dash, considering she was still quite healthy at the time. She was like 2/3 when we last saw her, just above half, or either way. But even if we end up missing her, we can just jump back down here and hop away, as evidenced by this, so it's not like we could really get punished for it for that position anyway. So their Mercy did die. They have got a Bastion, and we had a Winston, so Winston, unfortunately, is tragically bad against Bastion. He did manage to kill Mercy before he died, though, so he's got that going for him, which is nice. So we just go, like, way too aggressive here. Like, Reaper's right behind us. There's, like, 3... Like, Reaper just jumped down right next to us on the left. And there's, like, 3 people in this cave, and we've just come up to, like, start throwing shurikens in at, like, Bastion, I assume. But their whole team is just kind of, like, right on top of each other. We've lost, like, half our team by that point, and it's just not a good... It's just way too overly aggressive, and we just end up getting punished for it. Genji's more of a dirty scavenging vulture type of hero, really, where you sit back and you harass people a lot, and then when you see the opportunity to kill somebody, you dash in and go for the kill then. The rest of the time is just kind of spent harassing people, farming ult charge, and like basically waiting to see an opportunity to kill somebody. There was no such opportunity right there. We just squished right up against the backside of the enemy team like, this'll probably kill Bastion. Didn't kill Bastion, his whole team was right there. Much too overly aggressive. Genji is a very scavengy, vulture-y type of hero, which, I mean, is kind of like all flankers when you get right down to it, but Genji has the unique benefit of also being relatively long range, so you can just kind of harass from really far away. So we're waiting for our team to regroup, but they insist on staggering themselves. We're going to now stagger ourselves as well, because we're going to be like, I gotta touch the objective. This objective's they end up capturing it before we even touch it. But even if we did contest the objective, like, this is gone. There's no point. We end up just throwing our lives away for nothing. Now, we're staggered, and as we can see, the rest of our team is still marching forward diligently to die, so that's nice. And we also just gave them moral charge by doing that. So it was pointless. At absolute best, it was pointless to do, and at worst, it was actively detrimental due to us being staggered and feeding them ult charge. So we also see that our team comp has gotten quite bad at this point, so we should probably consider changing to a different tank, as if Genji is a tank. We should consider changing to a tank. The best one would probably be Orisa, because you can yank Bastion off the payload, which is always nice, but Orisa's also good at breaking barriers. Because, like, the easiest way to deal with pirate ship, or kind of a Bastion comp in general, is to switch to a lot of things that are really good at breaking shields. So you go like Orisa, Roadhog, both good at breaking shields, both can displace Bastion from the payload. Roadhog even tries to get him killed by doing so. And then Hanzo, Junkrat, or like Hanzo, Pharah, because they also do a lot of damage to shields. And then when the shield goes down, just Hanzo then storm arrows and like murders the Bastion. Gets hooked by Roadhog, that kind of thing. And then the supports don't really matter, probably Zenyatta, Mercy, because, you know, that's just kind of how life is. That's, like, the easiest way to deal with Bastion. It's very hard to deal with that, like, a Bastion comp as one person, because the Bastion comp, horror of horrors, is employing the most insidious of all devices, teamwork. I know. And the thing is, it's you as one person versus bare minimum 3 people, right? Because it's Bastion, the Mercy, and Orisa or Reinhardt. So 1 versus 3 does not typically tend to work out very well. So you kind of need teamwork to deal with that kind of situation most of the time, because teamwork beats teamwork. I know, weird. The best you can do as like a solo entity is pick someone like Roadhog, Orisa, Hanzo, these kinds, Sombra, because they all good at breaking barriers, have ways to kill Bastion, all have ways to displace him. Sombra is like the best one, really, but she's like hard to play because you can hack the Bastion, take him out of turret form, and when you use the Imp, you break all the shields and take Bastion out of turret form, which makes him very easy to kill. And they are all boxed right on top of the Bastion, so it tends to be quite easy to get a good one. Hanzo, Dragon Strike through the payload, he's got to move, kill him while he's moving. Also just has the chance of killing him anyway. Being Hanzo is kind of like being Bastion, but with Genji-type movement, you know, when you get right down to it. Roadhog, break the barriers, hook him off the payload. Orisa, break the barriers, halt him off the payload, that kind of thing. But, like, really it kind of comes down to teamwork. This is a very common question, like, how do you deal with the Bastion comp? The thing is, I think people approach it from, like, the wrong angle, where they always focus on the Bastion, right? And it's true. The team is based around Bastion, but really the backbone of most Bastion teams is actually the shields. So the easiest way to do it is just, like, break the shields. And it's like if you're defending a payload map and you think they're going to come at you with a Bastion, one of the easiest things to do is just run Bastion right back at them. Because then you can just sit a little bit further back with your Bastion, and then when they come around the corner, your Bastion's going to get the first couple of shots in, and if you've got Orisa Reinhardt protecting your Bastion, you'll break their shields first, and then you'll end up being able to kill the Bastion as a result of that. The problem is that people always get wicked tilted and overeager to kill the Bastion, so they always end up just kind of like running at the Bastion single file. And it's like, oh, I gotta get rid of the Bastion, I gotta get rid of the Bastion. The easiest way to deal with it is actually to get rid of the barriers, then get rid of Bastion. So really we shouldn't even be coming out this far, because like, our entire team is dead, so it's just like 6 assholes wandering around out here versus 1 Genji, you know? But doesn't matter, we walk away, we're gonna come back out again. Reaper's probably still around the corner, like I would expect him to do that again. He actually didn't, because it's just like, he was hovering around that corner, he knows we're all gonna be coming out there. I would expect him to be hovering around this corner still, but he's actually decided to leave. So now, we are currently being focused by the Bastion and the Moira. We need to, like, stop. We need to, like, just hide behind this rock and let Anna heal us, because she's, you know, this is Anna over there. We need to let her heal us. Or we could try and dash backwards and, like, go to the large health kit over in the gas station or something like that. But, like, we're just, like, asked to die, basically. And, I mean, this is kind of what you do versus this composition as Genji. Genji, like, if they've got a lot of barriers, you can break the barriers. You can also try and circumnavigate the barriers. Genji doesn't particularly care about barriers because he can so easily get to the other side of them. So, like, the way you do it is you just get behind them and, like, harass them. But the other side to that is, if they're all focused on you, they're just gonna kill you instead of letting you harass them. So that's exactly what ends up happening. We gotta wait until, like, our team takes some of the aggro off of us so we can actually, like, poke out and start harassing them. Or just, like, go and get some health, or wait to get healed from that position instead, seeing as we already got dropped so low. But, like, all flankers, when you're behind the enemy team, you need your team to actually be attracting some aggro from the enemy team, because the goal is to flank as a flanker, startlingly enough, and if your team isn't around, like, if there's no front line there to distract the enemy team, you're not flanking anything. Instead, you end up becoming the front line because, well, if there's no front line there to take aggro off you, they just all turn to you and start killing you instead. So, our team are not making it easy because you might have noticed that they've been staggered basically the entire time so far, which makes it very difficult for us to get to do. I see they're still staggering as we speak. Moira just died. Because heaven forbid we wait for 5 entire seconds. No, no, no. Gotta stop Bastion now. I'm gonna go get that fucking Bastion. I'm gonna teach him a lesson. I'm writing a strongly worded letter right now, and I'm gonna deliver it to him by hand. and all that ended up actually happening is you just die one by one to Bastion. So we go in pretty hard here. Small thing, just dash through him first, because pulling the Dragon Blade out resets the cooldown on the dash, so you can just do free damage by dashing through them first. Like, just get the free damage, and it's like, what? How much damage does the dash? 50 damage? That sounds like too much. Whatever. You do however much damage the dash does for free, so that's cool. And it resets off the pulling the Dragon Blade out, so it's just free real estate. So we do end up basically just getting focused to death right there, because no team really around to take any aggro, so they just see the Nano Blade and they're like, well, let's just all dump damage onto Genji, and they actually end up managing to kill us. It's one of those games where, like, startlingly enough, I don't really see us affecting the outcome of this game too much. Now, when you play a hero like Genji, there does always have to be the caveat that, well, you might end up playing like a god and just kill the entire enemy team by yourself. It's quite unlikely, though, isn't it? You know, certain heroes do have that. Like, you know, if you're playing Widowmaker, it's possible you'll just kill the entire enemy team constantly and they won't do anything. But probably won't happen, even if you are actually a pro. So, now, we've got to attack Route 66. It's not the end of the world that they got it to the end of the track relatively easily, because I've played more than enough games where, like, where you play defense and get wrecked, and you're like, well, that's the end of this game, but then you turn around and push on them just as quickly, and then the second round, the enemy team end up losing a lot of steam after that, because they're like, yeah, we got him, it's a free win. Then you, like, roll over them right back, and they go, oh. And then suddenly, a lot of their momentum gets killed right down. So, like, it's not the end of the world that they have 4 minutes left. If we attack, you know, decently back at them, that ends up taking a lot of the steam out of their sails, usually, the wind out of their sails. English is a stupid language, okay? So, now, we end up not being able to kill Moira right here, because she does this, so it's like, it looks like free real estate, but we have to reload, and she ends up getting to fade away. So we go back and look at what we were doing with our ammo up until that point, right? And the answer is, not a lot. We tried to shoot far right there, then we give up, but then we throw, like, a lot of shurikens just randomly at the enemy team, and basically, like, they all hit the wall. And, you know, we could have reloaded during, like, this period right here, where we're, like, backing up. Could have reloaded, could have been reloading here while we're hiding behind the payload. Because, like, nothing's happening, right? We've, like, used half our ammo now. Could just reload right here at 9 bullets, so 3 shots. Could just reload right here. And then it ends up punishing us, because then, when it comes time to do this, if we could have right-clicked or fanned one more time, because we're playing on the console. If we use the fan one more time, this Moira dies 100%. And that's a big deal, because that's that's like one of their healers taken out of the game, right? So the moral of the story is that if you're gonna just sort of spam at the enemy team and throw stuff for the sake of it, make sure that you are also taking a lot of opportunities to reload, because then you end up getting fucked right there. Also just, like, try and be more deliberate with how you use your ammo, because we did just sort of throw it at them like, you know, maybe it'll hit them. And then, you know, not a lot of it actually connected with anything other than the scenery, and then when we actually needed the ammo, didn't have it. And I mean, you know, you got infinite ammo in this game, so obviously you want to be trying to hit the enemy team as much as possible, because at least you're building up ult charge, if nothing else. But if you spam too much, you can end up being in positions where you don't have any ammo when you really need the ammo. Very, very obvious example of that is like Roadhogs, where they, like, no hero is more depressing to misuse your ammo on, because the Roadhog hooks you in, and then, oh no, I have to reload right after I hooked this Mercy into my face, so now I don't get to kill the Mercy, even though it was actually a free kill. Some trigger discipline is helpful in this game for basically all heroes, but particularly heroes like Roadhog, who have very limited ammo and a long reload. Orisa also. Like, Orisa and Sombra have extremely long reload animations, but they have really big clips at the same time, and yet always you watch the Orisa fire like 20 bullets and then be like, Yeah, I should take 2 seconds to reload right now. Oh fuck, a fight happened right next to me. Sombra sprays like 15 bullets, and then she's like, alright, I just might as well just mail off for this next fucking clip. It's gonna take me that long to reload my SMG. You know, anyway. So we end up not quite managing to kill the soldier right there, which is unfortunate. Basically, aim better. Which I know is not particularly helpful advice, but we almost killed him. We just ended up missing him a little bit. So here, we could have actually taken Moira's healing orb away from her. Because you can deflect the healing orb as well. And then, if nothing else, like, you can bounce it back at your team and get some free healing and ult charge off of it. And it will make you a lot easier to be killed in that position as well. Also, it might make them easier to kill, seeing as if Moira's throwing the healing orb, it's usually because she really badly wants to keep herself or somebody else alive. So if you take it away from her, even if you don't get that much value out of taking it from her, Moira suddenly lost out on, like, a pretty important cooldown, because she might be completely out of resource and, like, needed to use the healing orb. So just, like, taking the healing orb away from Moira usually ends up being pretty good. So here, we're attempting to backcap the enemy team. I mean, fair enough, you know. However, as soon as you see Mercy start doing that, it's better to try and go for the Mercy. Because now, she's pretty immobile, right? And we're not gonna backcap them, right? Like, they're right there. They're gonna notice what we're doing, and they're just gonna walk right back on us. Like, we're not gonna get very far with this one. Look, it's being contested already. But Mercy starts doing that, we might kill the Mercy, because suddenly, you know, we see her start doing that. She ain't going anywhere anytime soon now. She's pretty locked in. If we can kill Mercy, like, we probably won't interrupt the res or anything like that, but that sets us up with an opportunity to try and kill Mercy, and then you've taken one of their healers out of the game, which is the ultimate goal of all flankers, basically. So here we use Deflect for not too terribly much reason, because D.Va's only, like, left-clicking at us and we're at, like, full health, so that's not really doing much of anything. We want to actually try and deflect something slightly more meaningful. We don't want to just deflect, like, random trash chip damage that's getting thrown at us. Like, if we're going to deflect at a D.Va, we want to deflect the missiles back at her, because that's how, unlike, maybe, and try and block, like, the collision damage. Like, just blocking the left click, or the bullets, doesn't really do very much. It's like if you're deflecting at a McCree, you're not just trying to deflect the McCree's shots, you're really trying to deflect the flashbang back at him. Because if you just deflect the shots back at him, you better hope the shots kill him, or he's going to kill you, probably. Or he might just throw the flashbang slightly to the side of you, and stun you anyway out of deflect. You don't want to deflect just the random chip damage. Like, if you're in, like, the poking phase of the game, okay, fair enough, maybe you just walk in front of the enemy team and bounce a bunch of shit back at them to generate some ult charge, fair enough. But if you're actually, like, fighting somebody, you're looking to deflect some actual meaningful damage. So, even though the fight's not going super well, I think there's a case for using the Dragon Blade right here, because we just killed Pharah. D.Va's currently out of her mech. D.Va's actually in this mess of people. Like, we dash in right here. D.Va and Soldier are right next to us. If we pull out Dragon Blade, we will kill D.Va and Soldier, because there's just kind of nowhere for them to go, right? Like, they've got to go around the payload, like, in the tunnel. Either way, we can kill them with the Dragon Blade. No problem. And then at that point, they're actually missing 3 people, because Pharah's already dead as well. So, I think it's entirely doable. And then, a little bit of hindsight is 2020. We see that Zarya kills Moira, and Soldier ends up killing Orisa, which this would not have happened if we killed Soldier. So, I think pulling out the Dragon Blade here, even though the fight wasn't going super well, we actually had the opportunity to remove half their team right here. And it's not like we have to push it very far, right? Dragon Blade's a really strong ultimate like that. And then we got Orisa over here, we'd probably mostly kill her as well. Soldier ends up using Tac Visor right here. He would have used it probably in response to us using Dragon Blade. But from this position, he should be dead. Like, we should kill him before he kills us with Tac Visor. Because we're, like, not quite full health, but we're really close to full health. He's, like, right here. Cut. Easy peasy. Done deal. So I think using Dragon Blade here had a reasonable chance of actually capturing this checkpoint. And, you know, some of it is hindsight is 2020. But it's just like, we killed Pharah, and then we see Baby D.Va, Soldier right here, in a tight space, on top of each other. We can, like, get 2 for 1 off a cut, basically. And then, Our team will regroup first, if nothing else, as well. Like, if both teams have got people currently dead, our spawn's closer, so our team will end up reinforcing and start pushing faster, and we don't need to push it far from that position. Instead, we save the Dragon Blade, and I think we try to use it here. Yes, we do. Again, just like small optimization. Dash through him first, because we're going to get the reset off the pulling out the Dragon Blade anyway. So we might as well dash through him first, do slightly more damage. Because I think dash, cut, dash is enough to just kill somebody. You might need to be damage boosted for that one, actually, now that I think about it. I've never internalized a lot of, like, the specific numbers for things, especially if it's not a hero I play. I don't play Genji, so I don't know the exact numbers on all his abilities. Anyway. So, we ended up getting a few kills with Dragon Blade, but unfortunately, not quite enough. So, here I'm going back because we left-click at or we do the line, the 1, 2, 3 at D.Va right here. And then we try to fan her right afterwards. If you're right on top of somebody, you really want to use the fan because you just do more DPS slightly. Because if you do the 1, 2, 3, you have to fire all 3 shurikens one by one, and you can't start shooting. And like, if you just do the fan, you throw all 3 out at the same time. You get to do the next shot quicker, and all 3 shots also hit at the same time. So it just does more spike damage. So if you're like right on top of Baby D.Va, like right here, you don't want to line her, because the fan is just going to be more burst damage, and you don't have a lot of time to kill Baby D.Va before she gets in the mech, so using the line is just not as good as using the fan. Really, if, like, you're close to somebody, you want to use the fan, because if you can hit them with all 3 of the shurikens, that's just, like, a lot of spike damage, and then it's just, like, fan, melee, dash, they're basically dead at that point, right? Or, like, fan, melee, dash, they are dead. So, if you're, the 1, 2, 3 is more for, like, poking at range, and the fan is for, like, close range. Because if you can get all of them into the person, you just do more damage. Like, doing the fan from this range, like, yeah, it's really easy to hit one of them, but it doesn't, like, one shuriken hitting somebody doesn't really do very much, right? So, it doesn't end up doing a lot. The idea is just to get better at using the line from this angle, from this position instead. And, like, even if you're like, you make the argument, well, I'm trying to farm ult charge rather than actually trying to kill somebody. Alright, just fire the 1, 2, 3 at a tank instead. Because you'll hit him with all 3 shurikens rather than, like, 1 shuriken from the fan. It just ends up doing more damage and getting more ult charge. The fan is for, like, close range. Like, even right here. From this position, we do the 1, 2, 3 at her. But, like, we're close enough to fan all 3 into her from this position. So, just, like, right there, just, like, fanning them into the D.Va would have been better. Here, we try to kill the Mercy, but we end up not quite killing her. Did one of the shurikens miss? Yes, the second one. Not all of the shurikens hit, so she ends up just barely slipping away. Unfortunate. So we start... So, there is a large health kit in the gas station. It would have probably been a better idea to try and go for that, because now we're just kind of, like, squatting behind this rock. Damn, if only we knew sooner. It was respawning at the time, so hindsight's 2020. We would have got fucked. If only we knew she was on the trap, because damn, that was in fact free real estate, but we didn't know she was trapped until it was kind of too late. And to nobody's great surprise, we end up losing the game. We don't make it back, shockingly enough. Do you see the play of the game? No, that's not long enough to see the play of the game. Who got it, at least? I think we'll see that. Probably Bastion. We were on flowfeedback.com today, by the way, but there's just no comments on it. Turns out it was Farah. Oh yeah, Farah got like a triple kill in the defense, didn't she? Right. So... I can't really think of an overarching thing that stood out, but we kind of just kept talking about a bunch of other little things, so, you know. The biggest thing was probably, like, be more willing to change your hero, because I don't think Genji was a super great pick for the situation, especially once our team comp got, like, really bad on the defense, right, where we had, like, a Zarya as our only tank for a little while. That's really bad, especially against the Bastion, so probably the biggest thing is, like, be more willing to switch heroes, probably. but mostly we just talked about a bunch of other little stuff instead, so, you know, whatever. That's good enough. That's good enough right there. Yes, sir. So thank you very much for watching. If you did have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. And I hope you found the video helpful.